Welcome and thank you for tuning in. It's my hope that you will be encouraged and maybe even inspired by your engagement with this space. I live on the land of the Bunurong people of the Kulin Nation, and I acknowledge and express appreciation for their care of country over the millennia, and acknowledge the wisdom of their elders, past, present, and emerging. In this reflection, you'll be invited to take a journey from darkness to light, from despair to hope. Hopefully, the pathway will become evident in the three movements that comprise the reflection. Each movement will offer some space for reflective practice, encouraging you to pause and be mindful of the journey we are taking. And we'll be using this thought from Frederick Buechner as a recurring prompt for our reflection. Here is the world. Beautiful and terrible things will happen. Don't be afraid. Why not take the opportunity now to gently center yourself around that thought? Take a few deep breaths and let the words seep into your mind and your heart and see what emerges for you. Here is the world. Beautiful and terrible things will happen. Don't be afraid. Our first movement, we visit the dark night of the soul. That probably doesn't sound too appealing, but it does seem the right place to start. Because life often throws us into situations we would prefer to avoid, but which deep down we know we have to deal with. Things we would rather not have to go through or endure, but which often leave us somehow stronger, more resilient, more rounded human beings. In Christian spirituality, that journey has been named as the dark night of the soul. And it's a journey most of us go through at some stage and in various ways. Health issues, traumatic events, experiences of grief and loss, breakdown in relationships, all these and more can move us toward despair, can cause us to question life, question God, question others, and to question even ourselves as the darkness closes in. Perhaps you're recalling such moments in your own journey. What are we to do in response? Deny it, fight it, rage against the world, bemoan our lot, demean ourselves? Shortly before his execution, Jesus, who was facing his own dark night of the soul, offered some reassuring words to his friends, encouraging them to hang in there with the words, "By your endurance, you will gain your soul." Endurance. What is that? Well, endurance has not to do with denial or fighting or raging. Rather, endurance has to do with perseverance, gentle acceptance, hopeful waiting. This too shall pass. Endurance is about embracing the darkness, accepting the feeling, not as terror or as fear, but as part of the journey of becoming. Be present to the darkness. Attend to your feelings and breathe. Here is the world. Beautiful and terrible things will happen. Don't be afraid. In our second movement, we ponder the pathway forward. How might we move beyond the dark night of the soul? Most mornings I begin the day by taking the dog for a walk down the beach. It's ostensibly for his benefit, but it's become an important part of my day too. Sometimes the beach is peaceful and calm. Sometimes it's windy and turbulent. Sometimes it can even be violent and angry. But it's invariably, for me, a place of deep connection with that which is beyond me, with the beauty, the power, and the mystery of creation. I need the beach. Don't we all? At some stage, we all need that place of peace and quiet, of light and delight. What is your beach? Is it a garden? The bush, a friend, a book, a song, maybe the beach? These are the places and the people that can help us move beyond the dark night of the soul. The prophet Isaiah, speaking to a people in exile, a nation experiencing its collective dark night of the soul, proclaims the hope, indeed the promise, that a new heaven and a new earth will emerge from the darkness. A place where there shall be no more weeping, no more cries of distress, where the wolf will lie down with the lamb, the lion sleep alongside the ox. And the wondrous mystery is that when we take time to visit our beach, to pause, reflect, meditate, cease from our struggle and breathe, we may just discern that new heaven and new earth emerging deep within our own soul. Try it now. Breathe deeply and mindfully, in and out, in and out, and keep breathing deeply and mindfully as we hear again the words of Friedrich Bjerkner. Here is the world. Beautiful and terrible things will happen. Don't be afraid. In our third movement, we celebrate the emergence of hope. Joel McKerrow points the way in his beautiful poem, Hope for Tomorrow.
I met a man who saw the world differently. sat cross-legged at his feet, and he told me, remember the past, but cast your eyes forward. For tomorrow, our hope shall be a louder voice than our apathy. Our apathy shall finally take a step forward. Our steps forward shall lead us somewhere, mean something, hold meaning like friends hold each other, crying, I am crying for this world to change. Tears of empathy and sometimes apathy, I cry today for tomorrow. Even these tears shall be wiped from our faces. Lift your cheeks, though they are wet. There is one who shall collect them yet. Hold them in his hands and call it the ocean. Beckon you to set sail, turn your face to the horizon. For tomorrow, the nooses drawn tight around the necks of the oppressed will be like halos, like the saints around their heads, a guiding light for the rest of us. Let us see the way forward comes not through power and politic, but through small acts of courage and change. Change us. Like loose coins are never gonna fix this problem, so let us go deeper than just charity. Change us like sweatshops closing. Change us like politicians stop posing. Change us like half the women of the world don't have to be abused. Change us like somebody has to stand up for tomorrow. We shall not just talk of gender equality, but rather women who in total work 2/3 of the world's working hours will one day get paid more than just 10% of the world's income. For tomorrow, we imagine a day when corners do not exist. Those years of muddy lips pressed against white skin, the many times she'd lie under the weight of a man's insecurity, forced into slavery, fingers that rub bruises into her flesh as the sweat of large men stain her breasts that are the tools of her trade. Street worker taking tricks on her corner. Imagine a day when corners do not exist. For tomorrow, the weapons will be piled high and tanks left dry, drones in the sky. No more. We turn their swords into plowshares. I make a garden from your M16. I irrigate the earth from your death machine and hold out to you a meal for us all to sit at the same table. For tomorrow, Israeli and Palestinian shall sit down and have dinner again. The rich shall eat with the poor and the oppressor with the oppressed, and they shall talk of forgiveness, truth, and reconciliation. For tomorrow, the betrayed shall no longer seek revenge, and revenge shall no longer be found in the dictionary, and neither shall poverty, nor infant mortality, nor hungry, nor thirsty, nor children searching through waste dumps, oil pumps leaking the ocean, 21 million in slavery no more. For tomorrow, we live in color. For tomorrow, we dance on the streets. For tomorrow, we look the other in the eye. For tomorrow, we embrace. For tomorrow, we are set free. For today we crawl on our hands and knees, believing that tomorrow we are seeing. Stretch our eyes forward, move our limbs, turn our heads toward the sound of liberation. We wait, and this waiting is an ache. And this ache is a burden, heavy and hopeful. This ache is a back scratch, never quite reaching that sweet spot. And so we keep on scratching, we keep on moving, we keep on working, we keep on crawling, we keep going forward. We seek for tomorrow by acting today until this world is as it was always meant to be.
The endurance and strength to live and grow through the dark night of the soul is dependent upon holding some skerrick of hope, believing that this too shall pass, holding out the possibility, even when you can't see it, that there is light at the end of the tunnel, that ultimately all will be well. Without just a skerrick of hope, it is nigh impossible to overcome the darkness. So from whence comes such hope? Where shall it be found? 3 observations. Firstly, hope is found in the assurance of the soul. If we stop to reflect and breathe, most of us will sense a deep, gentle stirring of the soul, a centre of peace and an assurance of hope, deep, deep within us, that holds the possibility that things are going to be okay. In the midst of your dark night of the soul, be still, quiet the mind, breathe, and allow the deep assurance of the soul to guide you toward hope. Secondly, hope is found in community. Friends, family, communities of faith and common interest. You are never alone. The capacity to endure, to hold on to hope, is strengthened and nurtured in community. By the interest, care, support and love of the people around us. Strangely, when travelling through the dark night of the soul, we are prone to cut ourselves off from others, to isolate ourselves from community. How counterproductive. Be intentional about connecting with communities, and be transparent about your need to do so when it's necessary. It's an important step in the pathway toward hope. Hope is found in the assurance of the soul. Hope is found in community. And thirdly, hope is found in intentional movement. This is what Joel McKerrow's poem is saying, that hope emerges and becomes real as we take action, as we move toward that for which we yearn, toward the future we glimpse. It's in the combination of these 3, assurance of the soul, experience of community, and intentional action, that we may find a pathway from the dark night of the soul to light, from despair to hope. As you make that journey in big ways and in little ways, may the words of Frederick Buechner travel with you. Here is the world. Beautiful and terrible things will happen. Don't be afraid.